Hello and welcome to week 2 of our online course. Please email me with questions, comments, concerns, ideas, or to set up an appointment to meet with me. My email address is cosgrove@uncw.edu. Don't forget that we can meet over the phone, via Skype, or face-to-face. Also, don't forget to contact the UNCW Technology Assistance Center for help with technology issues. You have several things due this week. Be sure to review the to-do list in our learning module. This week we will begin our 2-week unit on fiction. More specifically, we will focus on short stories. We will start off with 2 classic short stories written by women in turn-of-the-century America, Kate Chopin's The Story of an Hour and Charlotte Perkins Gilman's The Yellow Wallpaper. I know many of you are nurses, so I think you may find the medical elements of these stories especially interesting. To complement these stories, be sure to also read Chapter 8. You can find more supplemental materials like images, suggestions for writing, and so on for these stories by exploring their corresponding workshops on LitWeb. I have recommended you look over the materials listed here. As always, you should refer to your MLA handbook as you go. In addition to the readings listed, be sure to review the prompt, guidelines, and rubric for Short Essay 1. You must do this before beginning Draft 1 and Peer Review 1. You can access a printable version in the Course Documents and Information folder linked at the end of this module. You can choose to write Short Essay 1 about either of this week's primary texts or next week's primary texts: The Story of an Hour, The Yellow Wallpaper, The Birthmark, and Roman Fever. Feel free to read ahead or at least check out the 2 stories for next week to consider if you may want to write Short Essay 1 about one of them. That way you will have plenty of time to engage with your selected text while working on Draft 1 this week. Once you've completed your readings and reviewed the prompt for Short Essay 1, you are ready to begin working on this week's writing assignments. Click the link in the Learning module to access the prompt, guidelines, and rubric for Module 2 discussion. Next week, you will submit a final draft of Short Essay 1. This course encourages students to think of writing as a process, rather than a product. Discussion Part A asks you about your writing process. Describe your real writing process. In other words, what steps do you normally take when working on a paper? Then consider your ideal writing process. In other words, what steps should you take to ensure you have done your best? Outline your ideal writing process in detail. When crafting your original post, make sure you follow MLA guidelines and that your writing is at least 150 words in length. The deadline to submit Part A is Wednesday, October 28th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For Part B, you will respond to at least 2 of your peers' posts. Make sure you follow MLA guidelines and other requirements. The deadline to submit Part B is Friday, October 30th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, all module discussions will be evaluated according to the discussion rubric, which is linked in the discussion and available in the Course Documents and Information folder at the end of the module. Draft 1 and Peer Review 1 is also happening this week. Click the link in the Learning module to access the prompt, guidelines, and rubric for Draft 1 and Peer Review 1. Be sure to follow instructions carefully. You should also reference the peer editing checklist and the short essay rubric linked in the Resources and Course Documents and Information content folders. The deadline to submit your draft, Part A, is 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Friday, October 30th. The deadline to peer review 2 of your classmates' essays is 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday, November 1st. Remember that you should find 2 students who have no more than 1 other peer review already. The last thing on your to-do list is to complete Test 1. This test covers key terms and concepts. Click the link in the Learning module to begin the text. I'm going a bit more quickly this week as I expect most of you are now comfortable with Blackboard. If you need additional assistance, please let me know. To prepare for this test, you should read all assigned readings carefully. The test contains 10 multiple choice questions, each worth 5 points, for a total of 50 points. Questions are evaluated on a correct-incorrect basis. You can take this test twice, and Blackboard will take your highest score. Your scores will be displayed instantly. You may reference your book while working on this test. The deadline is to submit Test 1 is Sunday, November 1st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once you've finished your test, you've completed Module 2. Please let me know if you have any questions, and have a great week. Module 3 will be available Monday morning.